Hello, scrufftards, vatniks, Trumpists, degenerates, and random internet basement dwellers. Welcome to the War Zone. I'm Scruffy, and this is Scruffy Tales. And we're gonna take a look at Kursk, what's been going on up there, but more importantly, once we're done with Kursk, we're gonna take a look at Pokrovsk, because it looks as if Ukraine has an opportunity. If they can exploit it, that is. And at the end of it, if they are able, they might be able to cut off a large chunk of Russian forces outside of Pokrovsk. Right, let's see here if we can get this audio, the sound up here. I haven't ever noticed that the sound is low. On my computer or on the mobile phone, but I see the comments and people have been complaining about the volume being a bit low when I'm doing the map thing here. Real strange, not sure why, but let's see if I keep turning this, hopefully we increase the volume here. Anyway, Andrew Perpetua's map updated 30 minutes ago from my time of recording this, and this is the 8th of February. So yesterday, let's zoom in here a bit. We have this here. We have Ukraine with launching cluster munitions against Russian infantry coming in towards the river here and the lake. Infantry trying to move across open fields. Good luck with that. But this is a bit concerning. Russian airstrikes aimed at the Lebedevka. Here you have a bridge crossing with this bridge here, crossing the river. What's it called? No river name here. There's a river here anyway, and a bridge. So this might indicate that Russia wants to move in towards Lebedevka eventually. But of course, this is what we're interested in: the Ukrainian assault towards Cherskaya Konopelka. Not much going on here on Andrew's map. Cherskaya Konopelka is in Ukrainian control, and you have a large area surrounding that is contested, including the small village here, and you have a pig farm and you have a railroad crossing here. But if we move on over to Ukraina 73, Mayakovsk 73, sorry about that. We have this situation where you have Ukrainians pushing down this way. You have Ukrainians pushing out here, and take a look at this. This is Ukrainian infantry moving across this space towards the railroad crossing here and some buildings. And also down here, you have Russian vehicles being destroyed, BMPs, as they're moving south of this lake along the waterways, the creek here of Reka Konopelka, getting destroyed way over here. So quite clearly, Ukraine is applying pressure eastward towards Ruskaya Konopelka as well as towards Ulanok. And if we go over to the Ukraine control map, exactly, yeah. And this is Ukrainian position west of Ruskaya Konopelka, hit by Russian drones, zooming in. And this is from the 9th, which is today. And here you have Ukrainians within this tree line just outside of these buildings being hit by Russian drones. Here we also have the Russian positions, the destroyed Russian BMP, and damn it, as well as this one, destroyed Russian BMP, destroyed during Russian counterattack. And same thing goes with this one. So 2 destroyed Russian BMPs trying to move in to counter a Ukrainian presence, and they were destroyed. So we have continued evidence of Ukraine pushing eastward here, Russia being destroyed in the center, and Ukraine trying to push through here in the woods down here to the south. So that would be it. Let's jump on over to my map. And as we saw, Ukraine has pushed over along the road here, pushed into these forested area here, right next to this building or compound, whatever it is. So this area here is a bit contested at the moment. And we have Ukrainians pushing in. This is under Ukrainian control, according to some. I mean, they are moving along this road, so they are more than likely in control of the area surrounding this lake. And let's repeat what we said in the last video. Ukraine is currently in a really good spot, god damn it, to isolate a bunch of Russians, as we can see here at the Fanazevka. It's not that far down to the river Psel, and that if Ukraine manages to push down to the river, the only way for Russia to really properly resupply and reinforce their positions up here is at this bridge right here. And that bridge then becomes a bottleneck where it's easy for Ukrainian drones to hunt for targets north and south of this bridge, trucks and armored vehicles and what have you. So it's going to be difficult for Russia to properly supply their forces up here now that Ukraine has moved into Cherkasskaya, Konopelka and Fanazivka. So we'll see if Ukraine will begin operations to try and push southward along this road here towards the bridge and properly force Russia to abandon territory north of the Psel River. And this is important because that would mean Russia would have to abandon this part of the battlefield right outside of Kurilovka, where Russia may cross the river Sudzha and begin, if that happens, they can then begin operations towards this supply line leading to Sudzha itself. So if Ukraine can come down here, they will secure Kurilovka, and that is very crucial. So all of this here this is a big deal. This is was an excellent move made by Ukraine, pushing down here towards Fanazivka and now putting a lot of pressure on the Russians in this part here of the battlefield. And now jumping down to Pokrovsk and Andrew Perpetua's map again here, we can zoom in. Not much has happened at Kotlyne or Dutchne. The lines appears to be static, but interestingly, we can see here, take a look, if we go back here, this is the 7th and now on the 8th. Boom, here we go. Ukraine has pushed in and are now contesting this factory here, or a mine or whatever it is, right outside of this small town village. And Ukraine is pushing in. If we go to the Ukraine control map, we need to go down to Pokrovsk. Here we go. We can see here you have Ukrainian positions on the 8th, Ukrainian positions on the 8th, and this is Ukrainian positions on the 5th on MRAP. So they have been pushing in here over the last couple of days, and they are now contesting this mining facility within Peshane. And this is potentially a big deal, because if we just take a look at Andrew Perpetua's map here, it's this tiny area over here, and the Russian controlled areas, it's kind of wide, right? This small thing up here is clearly not a threat to all of this. But this map, I think, is a bit misleading. Because if we take a look at my map, how I have mapped things out, you can see here, wide open fields. And the same thing goes here. This is a wide open field. This wide open fields, you can't control these wide open fields. You can't hide troops or vehicles out in these fields. you need tree lines like this, forest belts, or villages like this here. This is where you can store ammunition. This is where your troops can hide in basements, and in these woods is where you can move in vehicles and hide them from drones and artillery. So the maps that are showing this as one giant blob of controlled Russian territory are a bit misleading, because take a look what happens if we take into account the wide open fields. Sorry. Then all of a sudden, if Ukraine pushes into the mine here, that puts Psel in danger of being overrun, right? Potentially. So what happens if, say, Ukraine actually succeeds in taking the mine and then takes Psel? Well, now they can push into the woods here also, obviously, and now they're not that far off from the logistical route that the Russians are using over here to reach Vovkova even. And it comes like this, right? That's the road that the Russians are using to bring supplies to Vovkova, and from here on they can then move up to the fight at Kotlyne and Udachne. And take a look what happens if Ukraine manages to push into Psel. Now they are roughly 1 kilometer away from this vital road that the Russians rely on to bring in supplies. So, I mean, just imagine that Ukraine pushes down this way, maybe over here, disrupts the Russian transports here. All of a sudden, by taking Psel and eventually over time pushing down this way, this part of the battlefield up here, Kotlyne, Udachne, is cut off. You can still move across the open fields. Here you have the Solona River, a natural obstacle. Russia needs the roads here to move up towards Vovkova. All of a sudden, Russia has to transport everything across these wide open fields, trucks, armored vehicles, and what have you, jeeps, donkeys, whatever they're bringing these days. And that makes it easy to take them out with artillery and with drones. So this here is not a small thing. This here can actually lead to something far more important than just taking a mine on the outskirts of Pokrovsk. This could be the beginning of applying pressure to this narrow supply route that Russia relies on to supply the front line at Udachne and Kotlyne. So this here, right here, is super important if Ukraine can push into this mine and later on push into Psel itself, because that puts them in a position to strike at this supply route leading up to Vovkova, and that could decide the outcome of the battle at Kotlyne and Udachne. And also, with everything going on here, Russia is clearly running into trouble here at Kotlyne and Udachne. They can't push into Udachne, they can't push through Udachne, and Ukraine is launching counterattacks into Kotlyne, into this part of town south of the railroad. This part of town is contested. We have had Ukrainian soldiers engaging Russians over here. This is a highly contested village, Kotlyne. So Russia is clearly struggling here, and I find it a bit interesting what unit we have found holding the line at Kotlyne and Udachne. If we move down to we were on location. So here we have a geolocated unit helping out in the defense of Kotlyne and Udachne, and that unit is hang on, I'm gonna have to adjust here. Yeah, we're gonna adjust. Wait a minute. Right, that took half a second for you guys, but a couple of minutes for me. Here we have Kotlyne, here we have a Dutchman. And take a look at this geolocated unit. It is the 155th Mechanized Brigade. Famously trained by France, in France, equipped with French equipment, vehicles and what have you. And made the headlines because it had a whole bunch of deserters that left this unit in France and later on in within Ukraine as well, as I understand it. And also it got moved around a bit, got chopped up. Some units were sent to various parts of the battlefield, but it has been geolocated right here at Kotlyne and Udachne. You can see here last known location, Kotlyne, as of the 3rd of February 2025. So the Vatniks, who have ridiculed this unit because of some negative headlines before it reached combat, once it has been put, once it was put into combat, it has halted the Russian advance at Kotlyne and Udachne, and more than likely conducting counter-assaults into Kotlyne from the northwest here and into this part of town, as we have seen. And over here at the Udachne, the Russians are struggling. They can't get past this factory here, and they can't get past this windbreak here coming in from the south. So quite clearly, this unit trained in France, the 155th Mechanized Brigade, is holding the line at a very crucial point in time in this war, preventing Russia from pushing into Kotlyne, pushing through Kotlyne, and reaching these vital supply lines up here around this part here of Pokrovsk, right here. And it is the 155th, trained in France, equipped by France, that is currently holding the line and denying Russia the ability to advance. So, well, that's it for this time around. If there's audio issues, let me know, because I'm completely honest. I don't notice it in my phone or my computer. I don't notice that there is a weird sound issue with my video. So please let me know if it continues. But yeah, I mean, it's super interesting. Ukraine is so close to isolating Russian troops in Kursk, and now they are damn close to pushing into a situation where they can isolate a large section of Russian forces outside of Pokrovsk as well. Very interesting. No guarantees that they will succeed at Pokrovsk, of course, the same thing in Kursk, but still the potential is there, the possibility is there, and all we can do is hope that Ukraine has the strength and momentum to push through and gain the initiative and properly conduct these operations and isolating Russian forces and forcing them to surrender. But yeah, that's gonna have to be it. I hope I'll see you in the next one. As always, go på marsch, Ukraine, and give them hell.